I was in Toronto for a week with my girlfriend as a little vacation. We visited the CN Tower, Ripley's Aquarium, and the ROM. It was late at night when we had a fight. It was something stupid, so I'll just skip over that. But I ended up taking the subway to Sherbourne Station just because we stayed along Yonge, and I didn't want to go too far from there. I knew the TTC closed a bit after 1, and it was already 12 a.m., so I ended up walking around at night for almost an hour. I got back to Sherbourne Station, paid my fare, and walked down to the subway platform. Next train in 4 minutes. Great. I saw an old lady sitting on the bench at the far end of the platform. She saw me and started walking towards me. I knew she wanted to ask me something, and she looked so frail and weak, so I decided to speed walk to her. When I got to her, she asked me how to get to York University. I told her that I didn't know, I was just visiting, and so we exchanged words and we talked. She told me how I looked so strong and healthy and asked me for my name. Hector, I replied. She simply smiled and told me that there was an incident that happened in Sherbourne Station. I looked at her as she gazed down at the train tracks. Do you know what happened? I asked her. She nodded her head in disappointment. I assumed she didn't want to tell me, so I changed the subject and asked her why she needed to go to York University. She told me with a smile that her grandson is graduating. I congratulated her, but then her smile changed into a frown. I've been trying to reach York University since forever. I looked confused as the train slowly approached. The train approached and I walked in first. I looked back to see if she needed any help, but no one was there. I looked over at the nearby doors, but still, no one. The train was completely empty. It was only when I got home to search what the Sherbourne incident was. There was news coverage of a frail old lady being pushed accidentally onto the train tracks during the rush hours just before the train approached. Sadly, she didn't make it. I lived in a crappy apartment a few years ago. Under me, there lived a family, a father, a mother, and their 14-year-old kid. I never really got close to them, and I'm glad I didn't. There would be times when I would wake up in the middle of the night and hear yelling. The kid would scream things like, "I'm gonna kill you, you're the worst parents ever, I'm gonna cut your throats," to explicit and detailed things like, "One day you're gonna be chopped into pieces and cooked," or, "You better defend yourself, 'cause soon you're gonna be my fucking meal." I was honestly scared for their lives. I mean, even though the kid was around 14, his intentions were violent and not something you would hear so explicitly. It wasn't soon until there was a murder. One of the neighbors called the police after blood started dripping into their living room from the ceiling. The two parents had been placed in the refrigerator. The police had found their bodies cut into pieces. They found a bloody hammer and the butcher's knife that was used to cut them up. Days later, I moved out of there.